So let's do the posture prep. So pelvic tilt. Going out of verticality. And then coming into that great gift of life. Uprightness. Allowing your levity body, your etheric forces to draw you up into uprightness, rounding the shoulders up and back, chin tuck, some micro movements to awaken that central thread. Feel yourself being held by the life forces. Just being in gratitude in your heart. And being in gratitude for Jeremy, who's going to guide us in another practice.
Okay. This one is called the charging breath. It's very simple. Basically, you take a big hard sniff in through the nose and put your head back, and then exhale with the big shh. Bend the neck forward.
Out the mouth.
Your palm? Your mouth?
Shh. Yeah. Shh. Shh. And then just do that 7 times. And then on the last one, you big inhale, and then just kind of hold and squeeze, and then release. Yeah.
No, at the end.
No, that's like a
Oh,
just release. Yeah.
So why don't you demonstrate it
Sure.
a few times?
Sure.
Let
So
people
it's
watch.
like how quick, like.
Of
When
course,
you're done?
be careful with your neck.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself. And then on the last inhale, you go back. I believe. Yeah.
On the last inhale, you
With the one that you hold, go back.
and then release.
Oh, you hold it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many?
7.
So-
I'll count it.
The last one is. Sorry.
The last one is a big inhale, like a.
And
That.
keep staying that this one.
Yeah, hold and squeeze for a bit, like we do, to kind of charge up the energy,
Gotcha.
and then just release once you're charged up. This is gonna like get your prana moving, like many other things we do. Okay, everyone
Charged
ready?
up.
Everyone ready? Charging breath. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and. Six. Big inhale. Squeeze. And let it out. Feeling if anything shifted.
Any questions for Jeremy?
Do one round, I think.
Yeah, it's that's the indication. Just do that once to prepare for a practice. It's to charge you up, but there's no reason why you couldn't do more.
That was my inclination when I read it. I'm like, it seems like the kind of thing that you can do 2 or 3 times in
Yeah.
total. Like,
Yeah, definitely. People want to do it again?
yeah,
Okay.
'cause it's nice and quick. 3, 2, 1, and. Big inhale. And release. Whew. What's the temperature?
Temperature hasn't changed, but you're cooking.
I'm cooking, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it is called the charging breath, so it is
I feel it for
charging up the electromagnetism in the field, which will get your etheric body cooking and reforging, cleansing.
So does it send the energy up to the brain also? Is it certain ones?
Throughout the whole body. You know, the thing with things coming out the mouth tends to send it down into the body more. But, you know, the cha is because it's being done in the head. I think it does charge up the head, the brain. Definitely packs the prana. Can you feel like it's sort of like the sa breath? You know, sa, 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 sa. You're breathing out, but you're holding in. Ch, 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 ch. You can feel that charge up the whole body.
Are you involving the mulaband?
No.
Me?
No, you know, there's actually over 100 sphincters in the body.
That's news to me.
At the macro level and even at the micro level, with the cells, microscopic level, there's sphincters. Sphincters literally, I mean, it means closed off, but it literally means strangling. And that's why the Sphinx in Egypt is called the Sphinx, because it's named after the sphincter that would strangle people that came there that could not answer the question that the Sphinx would pose to them. It would strangle them to death. So that's why it was called the Sphinx. It's like a sphincter that would strangle.
I thought the sphincter was Dr. Enos's wife. That...
Why does it always go back to the blood?
But that's what he said, remember?
Yeah. And then, did you know they had a child as well?
He's taking the piss.
Yeah, they named her Rectum.
Let's go.
It's a very,
Little
very
Rectum Enos.
Very, very close family. All right,
That's
thank
just
you,
not
Jeremy, for leading us through that. We'll repeat these things again next week. And yeah, just centering yourself again. Just a bit of review of the mudras. You remember the Guyana mudra, the tip of the thumb, or the pad of the thumb to the tip of the index finger, which tends to circulate the energy more in the lung area because you're sealing the energy from the index finger. I want to introduce another one called the, I'm not going to forget this, it's called the Rudra.
Rudra
Mudra. Can you say Rudra?
Rudra.
Mudra.
Rudra Mudra. Sorry here, folks, I better get myself spotlight. Where you touch the thumb with the tip of the index finger and the tip of the ring finger. So your two fingers on the thumb. And this helps with circulation more lower because you're involving the ring finger along with the index finger. So it's more for the solar plexus area. We'll bring the energy down. So if you feel like you're a little high or getting too much energy up in the chest area, Rudra Mudra will help bring it down. So why don't we work with that for
When you
now.
say down, do you mean lower chakras or like legs?
No, solar plexus, belly area. Yeah. So just sit with that for a moment while we go into natural nostril breathing. And you're welcome to just be aware of your warm air coming in and out of your nostrils. Being aware of how what's going in at the nostrils goes down into the heart and lung area. So allow your awareness to descend down into the center of centers. And we're now going to learn another new practice from this chapter 6, Awakening the Chakras. This is the chakra meditation the chakra mantra meditation, where we're working with the mantra or the seed sounds known as the bijas. So we're going to be doing this for 6 of the chakras. And I'm going to kind of talk you through this. We're not actually into meditation yet. We'll do more meditation once we've gone through this. I want you to learn this because this is getting into really juicy territory, working with these lotus flowers on the chakra stalk. And this mantra meditation is meant to awaken these flowers with bijas. Bija means seed sound. Why is it a seed sound? Because it's just the rudiment of a sound, but when you work with the rudiment of the sound, it can expand and create a blossoming. The seed sound can create a blossoming of these chakra lotus flowers. So there's going to be a different bija for each chakra, and also a different mudra, if you will, a different seal with different parts of the body. So we're going to start with the root, which is, and when you breathe in, you're breathing in from the top down. So the inhalation through the nose is really coming in through this top, or this brow chakra, down the chakra stalk to the root, and then we're going to do the bija sound of lam, 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 spelled L-A-M. It's not lamb so much, it's more lam, 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 while pumping the anus while we exhale and say lam. So I'll demonstrate it one time, and I'll demonstrate with this as my
Anus.
anus. Thank you, Dr. Anus. So inhaling in. Lam, 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 lam. So that's the basic gesture for the first one, but there's one additional thing that's done with this first one and also the third one, called the sita breath. The sita breath is where you curl your tongue like this, which apparently is not anatomically possible for everybody. So is anybody in the room that can't do it? Okay, great. You got a winner. So inhaling with the sita breath, inhaling down the spine to the root and chanting the bija, lam, lam, lam. Right? Start with an exhale. Inhale. Down. Lam, 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 lam.
I'm trying.
Inhale again. Lam, 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 lam. One more time. Everybody good with that?
Sorry, are we curling the tongue while doing lam? That seems impossible.
No.
That's what I was
Just
doing
on
before.
the sita breath is inhaling through the curled tongue.
Okay.
Just inhaling.
Oh, I thought we got to do it with.
So
That was what was
That
throwing
he
us
was
off.
confusing me. It's like I cannot do it through all my.
You thought you would do
Long
the
with-
seated long with the curled tongue?
That's what I thought.
No. Okay, let's do it one more time. All right.
And when you're moving energy, we focus the energy down, and then we exhale.
We inhale through the forehead, down the column to the root, and then not with the seated breath, not with the seated tongue. Lam, 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 lam. Okay. Question, Ray? Hold on.
Inhale is through the nose.
Yes. Oh,
Through the mouth
yes.
with this curled tongue.
Oh, okay. So you are inhaling through the mouth with the curled tongue. You're not curling your tongue while you inhale through the nose. You're inhaling through your mouth. Okay, I couldn't see you inhaling through your mouth. I thought you were inhaling through your nose.
Oh, it's like through the mouth, through the seated tongue.
And envisioning that you're like feeling that you're sucking through the third eye and bringing it down to the root, and then the lam, and on the L part, the lam is when we, like during the ah part of that lam is like when we're contracting the anus, and then we let it go, and then lam again.
Yeah, you do the contraction on the long.
Lam. Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. All right, want to be clear on the first one. So, yeah. You visualize the energy coming through the third eye, down the column, but you're inhaling through your mouth, through the curled seated tongue. Okay. So, let's move on to the second one, not seated tongue. And with this one, you do breathe through the nose. You inhale through the nose. So, inhale through the nose. You bring it down to the fire center. Anybody remember what the fire center is? Yes, the third chakra. So you bring it down to here, and then you do a root contraction, and you imagine it's being pushed down one more chakra out the genitals. So it's to energize the second chakra and the genitals as well. So inhaling it down to here, and then with the root contraction, you push it out the second. So imagine pushing it out, and then you release the contraction while chanting VAM with a V, as in Victor. So let me demonstrate. So inhale here, pushing it out, contracting the anus, VAM, and then you just release VAM, 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 and visualizing it shooting back up. You bring it down, push it out, you hold the root contraction, you release the root contraction, and it shoots back up, VAM, 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 VAM.
So you're inhaling VAM.
No.
No.
You're
Exhaling
always
VAM.
exhaling when you're
Always.
doing the B shot.
What do you mean pushing? Pushing what?
Energy. And
Well,
visualizing
Are we
it.
pushing the diaphragm down? Kind of like reverse Kegel? Are you doing that?
No.
Okay,
No.
everybody just visualize inhaling, drawing energy to here, and then pushing it out. You have a root contraction, so you push it. Can you sense like you're pushing it out? It's not, and then you release and it shoots up with bum, 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 bum.
So when we contract it, we push it out. Push
Yes.
the energy.
Yeah, you contract so you don't push it down to the root.
Oh,
It comes
okay.
out the second chakra.
Mm-hmm.
This is for the second chakra.
I did similar the whatever these breaths are called, but we did it like
Don't confuse us, please, with a different method.
okay.
That'd be great. Thank you. It's hard enough people getting what's in the book. So I know there's all sorts of variations depending on lineage, but we'll just stick with the book for now, and then you have the option if you want to do something different.
When you say that the energy comes back up, it kind of like, because we kind of pushed it down and out of the second, and then as we say vom, it shoots back up. Is it shooting back up inside of us or
Yep.
out in front of us? Okay, got it.
Inside. Yeah, the column.
Okay, thank you.
The
Yes.
Sushumna.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. When you release that contraction, it shoots back up. You visualize it going up. You feel it going up while doing the vom, vom, vom.
Up until what?
Until you run out of breath. Yeah. Once you get this down, this is super powerful. This is one of the best practices. This, along with the yantra cards, is definitely a keeper for energizing and activating the chakras. All right, so exhale. Inhale through the brow, down to the solar plexus, root contraction, pushing the energy further down and out through the front. Release the contraction and inhale again. Root contraction, pushing it further down and out. Releasing. Again. Down to the belly. Root contraction. Push it further down and out. Release and exhale. Once more, inhaling. Contract. Push. Release and push it up. Give it the after effect. You got it?
Yes.
You're not clear what's...
When you push it back up, you just think it back up?
Yeah, when you release, the intention is that it shoots back up. Because you've been pushing it down and then it kind of...
Are you following the energy up, like somewhere, like bring it to third eye or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back up to where it came in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're using this as kind of a gateway, you know. This is a gateway. There's a psychic bridge here. And, you know, even with the balancing the third eye, we were drawing in through this point. And we'll be doing that again with the third eye bija.
So one more question. You said when we're pushing it further, we don't want it to go up the first chakra. You want to activate the second. What's that difference? Like, are you pushing it to the second chakra and making sure that it's not going down?
You have the root contracted,
Root
your in's
contracted,
contracted, so it can't leak out the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's being forced into the front.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Blowing your negativity out your dick.
All right. Moving on up the chakra stalk. Third one is the fire center. And there is elements connected to each of these. So the first one is the
Fire.
You're whispering. I can't
It's fine.
let everybody hear. What's
Earth.
Thank you. Earth. Yes. Earth.
Water.
Water.
Fire.
Fire.
Air.
Air.
Ether.
Air.
Spirit.
Light.
Right.
And the crown one, the element is thought. So yes, we're moving up to the fire center. So with this one, again, it's the Sita breath, so the curled tongue. Everybody practice that inhale because it's actually a very good tool if you want to cool your body. if you're overheated, you can inhale and exhale through the seat of breath. So with this one, again, you're inhaling through the brow, visualizing, feeling it come down to this third area, the fire center. And you don't do any contraction. But on the exhalation, you're pulling in the diaphragm each time you say the bija sound, Ram. It's kind of like Ram, 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 Ram. Try that. Ram, 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 Ram. Okay. Easy peasy. Exhale. Inhale, seat of breath. Holding it in the belly, fire center, and rum, 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 rum. You're doing good.
And coke.
Inhale. They say try to do it 26 times on one breath. That's the challenge. Rum, 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 rum. Again, seat of breath. Bringing up the fire. Rum, 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 rum. Okay, see what the effect of that. How's that for everybody?
Wow. Fine.
Feel some fire?
Yes.
It's really tough to push the diaphragm every single time. Once it starts to get really empty, it's like you gotta.
Well, when it's empty, when you mean the lungs empty?
Yeah, like when you're really like there and you're at like
Yeah.
24 and you're like.
Oh, yeah, I see you're trying to hit 26. Yeah, that's an optional challenge to do 26 times. While doing it 1 per second, it's not that you're supposed to rush it, it's that you have enough breath to do 26 times. And you don't let too much go out on each ROM. You have economy of energy.
So that one is packing prana then, because of the way that we're letting out the breath. It's like a different kind of a sasa.
They're all packing prana.
Nice.
Yeah. But remember, the objective of this exercise is to awaken the chakras. So, you feel solar plexus chakra a little more alive. Yeah.
You said when we said Ram, that you're sucking the diaphragm up or back to the kind of like when you create a vacuum for a breath. Is that the case? Did I get that right?
You're just pulling the diaphragm in.
Yeah.
Just ram, ram, ram. Clear?
Okay. Yes, you're pulling it in when you say Ram.
Yes,
when Ram
pulling
is
it
coming
in.
out, you're pulling it in. Okay. Yeah, that's what I did.
Ram's coming out, diaphragm's going in. Ram, 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 ram. Yeah. Good clarification. Okay, moving up to the heart center. The bija sound is yam, which is easy to remember because I love yams.
Yummy, yum.
Yummy yams. Yeah. So with this one, you're rounding, when you inhale, you round your shoulders back to open the heart center. And then while chanting Yam, you're rounding your shoulders forward. Yam. 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 Good. I think you got it.
Yum.
So there's no seated breath. That's only on the first and the third. There's no anal contraction. You're doing the contraction up here. And so it's not only awakening the heart chakra, it's good for the pericardium. Pericardium is the sheath that surrounds the heart.
And we were just moving the shoulder, not the spine.
Just the shoulders are rotating forwards.
And are we always breathing in the third eye and into the corresponding
Yes.
chakra for each one?
Yep. And you'll see why later. It's coming. Bit by bit. So, inhaling through the brow, down to the heart, rounding the shoulders back, opening. Yum. 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 Another head inhalation. Round the shoulders back, open the heart. Yum. 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 Inhale through the nose. Round the shoulders back. Nice and big. Once more. All right, releasing some stuff. It's good. Yeah, it's a bit of a workout, eh? You know, you can do each one of these 7 times. And you can do them just one at a time. Like right now we're doing a sequence of them. But you might go, oh, you know, my solar plexus needs some work. So you just focus on that. Maybe do 3 sets of 7. So, that was the air center. Now we're moving to the ether center. Definitely ether is associated with this larynx chakra. Larynx chakra is very powerful and magical for working with the ethers. So the bija sound is hum. H-A-M. Hum. You think, I eat hum. I eat ham, so this is up in this area. So when you inhale through the brow, come down and you stop it at the throat by doing a chin lock, and then hum, 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 hum. Every time you open your mouth with hum, you can see how it's, you know, charging things up. So, any questions on that?
It activates it or it clears it?
Well, you know, activation and clearing kind of goes hand in hand.
Okay.
Yeah. These are called chakra activating mantras.
Mm-hmm.
Mantra being, you know, a sound.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So exhale. through the brow, down to the throat, chin lock. Hum, 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 hum. Release. Inhale again. Chin lock. Hum, 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 hum. And again. Hum, 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 once more. Lock it in the throat. Hum, 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 You can feel how when you lock with the chin lock, it doesn't go down in the body. You're really focalizing it there in the neck and the neck and the larynx chakra.
Almost like the more we were doing it, I could feel like different areas of the throat sort of being like loosened up a bit, and even like my jaw.
Yeah, yeah. It'll loosen. It'll clear things for sure, Mata. These things will clear stuff. You know, we'll talk about chakra activation and clearing in a moment. But yeah, it's kind of like a chakra massage.
I find it quite uncomfortable to try to inhale during the chin lock. Like it feels like my throat is kind of closed and I'm forcing air. It just feels a little not right.
But you could maybe do the lock a little bit after that, like.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That felt more instinctively correct to breathe in the air with like
we
a...
tuck the chin all the time, all the way through the exhale,
Yes.
or slowly we move it.
Yeah. Yeah. Doing. I can hardly see over here in the dark, but it's. Yeah, it's like a. Hum, 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 hum. So it's there. You're keeping the chin against the chest, but when you open your mouth, it it creates this energy. Hum, 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 hum. Very powerful.
Maybe last question on that.
Yes.
So when we lock our chin, is our chin stationary and we're opening our head? So
Yeah.
like a cartoon head chomping,
Basically.
the top
yeah.
of the head open.
Basically, yeah. Yeah. It says raise the chin while keeping the tension in the throat. But you're not really raising the chin. You're really opening. You're opening the chin. Yeah. Hum.
It's your job that's doing
hum.
He's all on exhale,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All on the exhale.
Yeah.
Okay, one more. You down for it?
Mm-hmm.
This is the light center of the third eye. And the bija is our good old close to home.
Hey.
And they say, you can either put your forefinger on this center here between the eyebrows, a little higher up from the eyebrows, or you can touch your eyeballs, your eyelids and eyeballs with your index finger and your middle finger. It's just to help with activation in this area. So what you're going to do is inhale through the nose, drawing in through this center across the psychic bridge. So it's like some people call it the atom tunnel that goes from here to the bindu. Bindu? You guys get that? Yes.
Place where your hair curls.
It's the hair swirl area at the back, also known as the secret moon chakra. We'll talk about that. But you're going to imagine the energy going through the head, the psychic bridge, to this bindu, holding it, and then while exhaling, chanting the bija, om, om, om. Imagine the energy shooting back out the front of the forehead, back into cosmic space.
So we hold it at Bindu, and then we exhale it out.
Yeah, so it goes in. Om, 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 om. While holding your finger there or on your eyeballs.
So there's a tunnel between the bindu and the third eye?
A tunnel, yes.
The tunnel that
The
goes
psychic
right-
bridge.
Right, so from here that goes back and then shoot up.
Yep. Got it.
Pinball.
Yeah. Charging things up. This is why the charging breath is put just before doing this. You know, you charge yourself up and then you go into this practice. All right. So inhaling through the brow, back to the bindu, and then shooting it forward with Om, 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 inhale again. Back to the bindu. Again. And once more. And that is the chakra activation mantra meditation. Mantra meditation, working with the seed sounds. Yeah. Very powerful. Encourage you to learn it, do it. And then you can additionally add on to this working with the yantras. There's mantras, which are sounds, and then yantras are what?
Visuals.
The visuals. Thank you. And I have the 6 yantra cards on the wall there, those small squares behind Masa. And yeah, if you have a quick look, the one at the bottom left is a square. That's the earth element. So typically you would use that, you would visualize that at the root chakra. The crescent moon goes with water, the element of water, so the second chakra. The third one is the triangle associated with fire, goes with the third, the fire in the belly. And then the bottom right here is the hexagram, 6-pointed star, goes in the center, that's in the heart. That's the air element. Then above that is the oval, and that is the ether element, goes with the throat. And then at the top is what's known as the Shri Yantra, which is a series of overlaid triangles. And that is used for the brow chakra. Now you might be wondering what's used for the crown chakra. This is called the Shiva Shakti Mandala. So this is used for activating the crown chakra. And you've already been doing that, playing with that to activate chakra at the top of the head. So with regards to these yantra cards, you know, there's on the next page in the book, it explains the how you can add these in to what we just did. You can do the mantras and the yantras together. Might be a little bit confusing to try to do that right off the bat, so I would master working with the mantras, the lam lam bam bam ram ram, and then you can layer these in, or you can work with these separately. I don't want to get into that right now because I think we've already covered a lot of information and don't want to cloud your mind. But what we did is great. That's even greater. I'll talk a bit about that after the break when we discuss this chapter 6. But any questions?
The visual is even greater, you're saying?
Yes.
Wow.
Jeremy?
There's colors listed that are associated with each chakra, and these colors are different than what I think a lot of people typically associate.
Yes.
Could you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're going to look at chapter 6, the theory, whatnot, after the break. But what do we do now? I think there's been a lot, but let's do a little bit of meditation. Let's go into the mudra. Back to some natural nostril breathing. Just witness consciousness, the air going in and out. Through the nose, down to the heart lung. Just being in your center. Center in spiritual space. From that center, ask Cosmic GPS, what direction should you move your awareness out from the center toward? Let's see what direction it goes. Feeling your awareness out from the center in spiritual space. Just witnessing the effect on that to balance you and expand you. And then drawing the awareness back into the center. Feeling that center. And then moving in the opposite direction within the sphere. Opposite from the first move. And really feel the balancing of that. center and spiritual space, your home base. And again, asking Cosmic GPS for another direction to move out. It can be one of the 6 cardinal directions or any direction. Which way for you? Just feeling the effect of that on your field. Staying awake, staying aware, in inner space. And then returning back to center. Feel this awakening, expansion taking place. Now moving the opposite direction to where you just were. Just feel what's going on the level of fluid dimensionality. Enjoying the effects of that as you move back to the center. From the center, feeling your entire sphere that surrounds you, holds you, protects you. Feeling the center and the circumference. Asking for Cosmic GPS to tell you a color to fill that sphere with and see what color comes. And be surprised. Keep your eye on that color. Let the quality work upon you. Filling your sphere. And then asking Cosmic Intelligence for a second color. See what comes. Again, letting it work upon you. Feel the contrasts with the quality of the first color. Does one replace the other, or do they mingle together? How's it working for you? And while we're holding this spherical space between the center and the circumference, we'll chant out loud 3 times Om. Om being expansion, the being contraction. Exhale. Inhale through the nose. Pick a pitch, play with it. Inhale again. more time. Keep doing it 3 more times silently in the inner plane. And while we finish that off, we'll have the reading of our verse.
The outer sphere of my aura strengthens, surrounding me as an impenetrable shield and vessel, protecting me from all unwanted, unjust, and impure thoughts, feelings, and intentions, opening only to the wisdom of cosmic intelligence.
Bringing the palms together before the heart in the mudra of reverence, attitude of gratitude for the ineffable and unnameable, acknowledging the truth and wisdom of that which is greater than us, that wishes to raise us up on par with itself. Thank you, thank you. Frictional warmth. Kind of covering the eyes, drawing the warmth in, preparing the senses. And whenever you're ready, snapping back. Welcome, friends and family, to our second last session
Aww.
of the Body, Mind, and Spirit Bootcamp.
I don't want it to be over.
Well, it's kind of the never-ending story here. Where are you?
Wow. I think Ray is singing.
Okay, can you hear me? Can I hear you? Okay, can you say something, Ray?
She's muted.
She's on mute.
Turn around. Look at what you see.
I don't hear you yet.
In her face.
Should be.
The mirror of your dream.
Let me try this. Okay, now speak.
Never ending story.
Okay. All right. So we're into chapter 6 of Jewel in the Lotus, but it's a big one, and I want to devote some serious time to that. So what I thought I would do at this point is look at the material from Steiner's Higher Worlds before the break, and then after the break, we'll do the deep dive into the chakras. But before that, I just want to make sure everybody's okay from that opening set. Any lingering questions or any questions in general about the practices thus far? Okay. Yeah. Another night at Rudolph's Diner. Rudolph's Diner? Did you ever eat out at Rudolph's Diner?
It's quite the feast.
Feeds your soul.
Quite the feast to feed your soul. Yeah.
100-year-old recipes.
For, yeah, cooking up your soul and spirit. So we start with this section. This is the third section of this chapter, and we'll be finishing off this chapter in the coming week. So we're going to get through all of chapter 1 in this term, and you can see how meaty it is. And just think, there's 10 more chapters. 10 more chapters in this book. So in this section here with the subtitle Inner Peace, the very first sentence he reiterates what he has said already regarding the first 2 steps on this path towards higher worlds. And what was the first step? What is the step on the path?
Vibration.
Reverence.
Exactly. He reiterates that. First thing is a path of reverence. So we need to develop veneration, humility, for something that inspires holy awe. Then the second thing, which he introduced last week,
Attitude of gratitude.
Inner tranquility.
I like both of those.
Devotion.
We just said devotion.
Devotion.
Reverence.
Reverence.
Reverence, devotion, holy awe. That's the first step, is to get that under the belt. The second thing is the development of an inner life. People say, get a life. Get an inner life. Which isn't necessarily easy these days because there's so much distraction, seduction, temptation, sensory input that causes us to exvolute. And he's saying we need to involute. Or what's another way of saying involute? Or exvolute? De-exvolute. You gotta de-exvolute. And go within and develop an inner life.
Yeah, it's funny. I've noticed in a number of conversations I've had recently, that all people are talking about, the people that I was hanging out with, is what Netflix shows they've been watching.
Ooh.
That's all exfoliating stuff. Really, I haven't seen. What am I been doing all this time? I haven't spent all this time watching these things. Just scratching
Get a
my
life,
head, but
man. You're missing out.
Get an inner life.
Get an inner life, yes.
Oh, that's probably what
You've
I
got it. Yeah. You're not missing anything. Especially if you've got an inner life. That's really where the fun and the action is. So, he says, we need moments of withdrawal. Moments of withdrawal from the world. And then he starts, in this section, to lay out practical rules. Practical rules that will help you on this path of reverence and will help you to develop an inner life. And he stipulates at this point, these rules, it's not about someone having dominion over you. He says these are universal rules that you'll find in all spiritual traditions. They may be presented in different ways, but it's fundamental and archetypal with all spiritual paths to follow these rules, not because a teacher wants to have dominion over you. No. It's not about people having dominion over you or restricting your autonomy. Rules are not there to restrict your autonomy. They're there to guide you, protect you, give you direction. So he reiterates 2 laws of the initiate. You know, if you're working with a teacher, or you're working with an initiate, you're working with a spiritual guide, the 2 laws that he spoke of at the beginning of the book, number 1 is nothing will be withheld you which you're ready to receive. So if you're prepared and ready to receive something, it will not be withheld from you. You don't have to fight and argue or any of that stuff. It will be given to you when you're ready to receive it. The other thing is that you will not be given something that you're not ready for. And that, unfortunately, is the case a lot with people in the world, is they're not ready to receive greater fruits of spiritual knowledge. They may have knowledge they get off of
TikTok,
but that's just information. That's just facts. Facts. And you know what you get with facts? You get all fact up. We don't want facts. We want real living knowledge that will enliven us. So you got to prepare. A lot of people just aren't preparing. They don't think there's any reason to prepare. Then I'm going to read this 3rd law for an initiate. This is really a law for a teacher. Regulate each of your words and actions so that you do not interfere with anyone's free decisions and will. I'm going to read that again, because that just that's like a golden law I've really tried to live by, because you'll be tempted. You'll be tempted to go against this. You'll be tested. Regulate each of your words and actions so that you do not interfere with anyone's free decisions and will. We're getting that all the time through marketing and advertising and scamming. It's all this clickbait and being sold at. People are really trying to interfere with your decision and freedom of will. So that's what he sets up here in this section. Now he gets into these practical rules. Now we're into the practical rules. And first one is, in these moments of withdrawing and having an inner life, you want to separate the essential from the non-essential. We'll talk about that in a moment here, but that's the thing, is being able to discern between the essential and the non-essential. And in doing this, how do you get into that space? How do you get into that space of knowing? It's all about having this inner life and this time of withdrawal. And he says, even 5 minutes a day. If you can commit to 5 minutes a day and do it regularly, it's going to change your life. Why? Let's see why.
It's not a big ask.
It's not a big ask. But, a lot of people stumble on that. It's what he's laying out here is kind of like the basis of the ruckshop. That each day, and it doesn't have to be at the end of the day, it could be in the afternoon, it could be in the morning. You want to take 5 minutes and look at yourself objectively. He says you want to look at yourself as if you're a stranger. It's not you, you're looking at yourself as somebody else. And he gives the example of a judge, the tranquility of a judge sitting in a court, and the judge is looking objectively at the defendant. And he wants to know the truth about this defendant. He wants the absolute truth about this defendant. He has this tranquility so that he's not swayed by his feelings or anything. He wants the truth. And that's the inner pose that we need to develop with ourselves. Looking at ourselves objectively during those 5 minutes.
And do we also judge ourselves?
Well, yes.
Evaluate.
Yes. I want to just say yes. Because evaluate is a nice word. Because you're going to look at yourself objectively and you're going to go, oh, Jesse, why did you say that? You know, you were impatient. You were like, you lost your temper. You lost your head. You're too quick off the mark. Jesse, no, next time, slow down. You know, easy boy. So yeah, you want to evaluate yourself, your actions, your words, your thoughts. And he gives another example of how, you know, during the day you're woven into circumstances. Like right now you're woven into the circumstances of this loft, you're woven into the people that are here, you're woven into what's going on. You're not really looking at yourself, you're looking at me. But when you go home, Mata, for example, in those 5 minutes, she can go back to when she put her hand up and said, yeah, I'll lead the Rishi Isometric. Yeah. And she'll look at that with the tranquility of a judge and go, yeah, Mata, that was good, you know? That was a good job, yeah. That was a shining moment in the day. So he gives the example of like, okay, you're in this town during the day, and at the end of the day you go up on this hill at the end of the day and look down on the town, and then you can see all the different parts. You can see, oh, there's the building, oh, there's the town hall, oh, there's the library. I didn't see all that when I was in it. But you go up to the top of the hill and you go, oh, there's all these different things. So this is the objectivity that you get, and you see things in a new light. You'll see things in a new light, and when you do that, that's going to help you to separate the essential from the non-essential. Because, you know, Mata's going to go, oh yeah, that was essential. I needed to step up because I'm working on courage, I'm working on leading, I'm working on being a coach. Question?
Yes. So should we judge ourselves based on sovereign perspective or magician perspective?
Good question, because he gets into this, because we're getting this overview. Where does that overview really come from? Where does that overview really lead us to? And he talks about how we shift from the everyday self to the higher self.
Higher consciousness.
The higher self has higher consciousness. Yeah. He says that this higher self that's within each one of us kind of as a seed nature, kind of a sleepy seed. It's going to stay a sleepy seed until you do something about it. And these 5 minutes a day of going into that zone is going to awaken your higher self. Breath practices isn't going to awaken your higher self. Asanas, pranayamas, bandhas, mudras, you can do all that stuff. It's not going to awaken your higher self. That's just one form of yoga, the Hatha yoga. We know there's 7 forms of yoga. And this is tantric yoga, where you're wanting to ascend into a higher place. Really, you could, if you wanted to say Shiva consciousness, you're identifying with Shiva, but you're actually becoming more of yourself. Ray. Is that Ray with the hand up?
It's actually you with the hand up.
I didn't put the hand up.
I think you showed your hand.
There's a ghost.
Yeah. AI.
It's automatic.
What? Are you kidding me? They put the hand up because I did that?
Hold it.
Oh, oh yeah. Hold it up,
Hold
and
it
then
for
there's a
longer.
timer. See, it's
Oh. Okay. Well, I just learned something new.
Future.
Let's fucking go.
Somebody, I was talking to somebody the other day about AI, and they said, "How about just I? How about just I?" So, this higher self that's concealed until awakened is kind of buried in all the circumstances going on during the day, because we're functioning from this place of the everyday self, as he calls it. And when we awaken this higher self, that's what's going to give us, you said, higher consciousness. He calls it super sensible knowledge. Super sensible. So super means beyond or higher than the senses. Super sensible knowledge. So we're going beyond what the senses can provide us with the everyday self. And we're able to penetrate that closed off stuff called the closed off mysterium. The word mystery, or from the Greek mysterium, means it's closed off to the senses. So super sensible capacities are going to allow us entrance into that higher knowledge. I'm going to read a little passage here. Can't be right. Oh, yes. Love this. When I read this when I was 20 years old, it was like, yeah, that's what I want. That's why I'm here. This is it. You ready? He says, for all human beings, in addition to what we may call the ordinary everyday self, also bear within themselves a higher self, or higher human being. This higher human being remains concealed until it is awakened, and it can be awakened only as each of us individually awakens it within ourselves. Until then, the higher faculties that are latent within each of one of us and that lead to supersensible knowledge remain hidden. Okay, here's the piece. We must continue to observe this rule seriously and faithfully until we feel the fruits of inner calm and tranquility. For each of us who does this, that a day will come when all around will become bright with spirit. Then to eyes we did not know we had, a whole new world will be revealed. Put that in your vaporizer. For each of us who does this, a day will come when all around will become bright with spirit. Then to eyes we did not know we had, a whole new world will be revealed. Why? It's because this word illumination, we become illuminated, the inner light gets turned on like a flashlight, and then we can use that flashlight to see the other world that's hidden behind the veil. turn on this light, we turn on the eyes of illumination and see a whole other world that's there, that's hidden, until we do this work. And he goes on to say that the outer life, your outer life, all this stuff, doesn't necessarily have to change. It can carry on as it is, doing your duties, your responsibilities. This is not going to alienate you from the outer world. That is so cool. And there's people like that are doing this work, turning on the light, seeing a whole other layer of world around, but they just carry on and nobody knows the difference. They're called initiates. And then they can actually perform their duties with greater power, greater insight, greater effectiveness, greater positive karma, and greater support to others. None of this has to change our outer life. I mean, sure, your outer life may all of a sudden become different because, you want to change your job and do something else, but it doesn't have to disrupt your life. We just have this second life going along parallel to the first life. Okay. Anything that you guys want to comment on this section?
Just a question on what this new world looks like. Is that entirely subjective? Is it unflinchingly optimistic? Is it clairvoyant?
Well, okay, those are three different suggestions. We're talking about clairvoyance and clairsentience. Clairvoyance means clear seeing. Clairsentience means, spiritual knowing. Clairaudience means spiritual hearing. So yeah, we're developing new organs, higher organs, that can see, hear, and know in this other world. Your other point was, is it subjective? That's a big point. He's leading us on a path to be objective, right? To be objective on this path of reverence to truth and knowledge. So we have to have scientific objectivity, so we're not deluding ourselves. But at the same time, because we're talking about spiritual science, our subjective nature also becomes more empowered in knowing things. So yeah, our subjective side is brought online along with this objective capacity that we've evolved over the past few hundred years. But now we need to bring the subjective. We need to evolve that and integrate the two.
And then the other question was, is it unflinchingly optimistic?
Unflinchingly optimistic. What would you think?
On a shallow level, no. On a deeper level, yes.
You're asking if having this higher perception will make us more optimistic?
Like, unflinchingly optimistic, I mean, like, everything is great and exactly as it should be. And my inclination is that on a shallow level, no. There's pain and there's suffering and there's hardship. And then on the deeper level, maybe it is all part of a cosmic intelligence. So yes, it is unflinchingly optimistic on a very profound level.
Yeah, I don't want to sugarcoat it, and say it's going to be like La La Land, because you're really just going to see the deeper spiritual impulses that are behind physical manifestation, behind politics, behind history, behind economics.
You see
So-
the unseen.
Pardon me?
You see the unseen.
See the unseen. So, I mean, there's a lot of darkness, there's a lot of horrible stuff that can be seen there. And for, anybody who's taken a journey with psychoactive substances and had, enough of a breakthrough, knows that you're going to see spiritual forces that are underlying the physical reality of things, and some of them are not pretty. But then, on the other hand, tremendous beauty of higher things, higher astral things. But the optimistic part is the fact that you have knowledge as to what you're connecting to, and then you can be more effective. You can be more powerful. You can be less of a lost soul and more of an asset to Project Earth.
Project Earth. Wow.
Yeah, what Steiner's talking about does start to border on this whole thing of chakras, because chapter 6 of this book, it's a very lengthy chapter and it's all about chakras, just so you know. And in this book, Jewel in the Lotus, it's telling us that these chakras are part of the etheric anatomy. So they basically are in this etheric body, the pranic body, that is connected to the physical body. And so it's connected to the physical body through the endocrine system, because everything's interwoven, right? So chakras, endocrine system, and so forth. And just off the top here, I'll show you something, because there's a lot in this chapter, and more than we can really go into in detail. But next week, as a little graduation present, you are going to be the beneficiaries of my lifelong interest and research into chakras with this chakra chart that Mwamwa created. That is, as I say, my lifetime research into chakras all put into this grid chart, which seems kind of juxtaposed. Something as ephemeral and spiritual as chakras have been kind of dissected into a chart. But it's kind of like everything all in one place, so you can contemplate it and start to see the connections between chakras, because that's a big part of working with chakras, is understanding their connection and relationship to each other. But I get ahead of myself. What it's telling us in Jewel is that they exist within our etheric anatomy, and the work with Kundalini, which we looked at last week in the previous chapter, is what gets these chakras moving and activated, really, into their ultimate activation. And even uses the idea of how it's like water that gets dynamos turning. You probably don't know the word dynamo, but it's like a turbine. They have dynamos under Niagara Falls, right? So the water of Niagara Falls turns these dynamos, these turbines, which generates electricity. Creates hydroelectricity. So that's part of what's going on with this engagement of Kundalini, to get these things rotating so that their power starts to become emitted, which in part is electromagnetism, but really more so, Kundalini is moving on the astral flows, the nadis, astral flows. So it's really the next body up. The astral body is working down on the chakras in the etheric body. Just kind of giving you an orientation of the landscape. Everybody clear on that? Mata?
So Kundalini is actually an astral flow that comes down through our body and gets activated
Yes.
until the tantric marriage happens.
Yes. Yeah. I like to think that these lotus blossoms are in the watery body of the etheric, right? Because this really correlates to water, the element of water. And then Kundalini is more like the air that moves the water, that moves these turbines. And in fact, the word chakra in Sanskrit literally means wheel. It is like a wheel. So they get into the division between the lower chakras and the upper chakras, which becomes significant in our work. And that the three lower, solar plexus, sacral or sexual, and the root chakra are considered the material chakras or the negative chakras. Negative not because, ooh, negative, but because of the polarity to the positive ones, the three upper chakras.
I just want to be clear about, because like I always thought that one of the chakras was, like the very first one was the sexual one, and the second one was in between the belly button and the sexual and the sex organs. Can we just be clear about where these chakras are on the body, because
Yeah.
I like to be able to visualize it, and it seems like there's a
Yeah, well,
fuzziness in definition there.
I know, and different systems put it in
Okay.
different ways. So there's a lot of information in this chart. You're going to be able to look at how I cut the pie. But in practice, the sense of the chakra can actually move around because it is not in a physical space, but in an etheric space. So its center may feel at different places at different times.
Good, so it doesn't have to be exact.
Doesn't have to be exact. And my teacher Samuel Sagan, he would just talk about the envelope of the chakra. So like the general area, rather than like, oh, where's the center of it? Like the heart envelope, the belly envelope, the root envelope. And then people aren't like you going, oh, I need to know where it is. I need to visualize it. Because these bodies are not always sitting together the same way all the time. The astral body and spirit self leave every night. So there's always this shifting that's going on. So to be aware of that. But that's the key, is really to be aware of these areas. And with the focusing class, the focusing tool is a great way to work with the chakras, because then you're not having to visualize where it is physically, you're just having to sense the felt sense that's in that area and learn how to listen to it. So yeah, we've got the three lower material chakras that really connect us more to the material world, and the three upper chakras that connect us to more spiritual things, through the throat, the third eye chakra, the crown chakra, more to the spiritual world. And then the heart, very delightfully, sits in the middle, sits on the threshold. Sometimes the heart is very much involved in our physical existence, as the physical heart is. The physical heart is so important, from the time we're born to the time we die, it's all about the heart. So it has this physical side to it, but then there's the higher octave of the heart. And that higher octave of the heart, connecting with the higher chakras, is really an organ of higher perception. Really important to see that the heart is not just some mechanical pump, but in the higher octave, it is really a central organ of perception. Yes, Jonah?
So, when I was reading the chapter, one thing that really came to mind for me is that, so I've done chakra work before, but more often than not, I tend to specifically focus on the sacral, the throat, and the third eye chakras, and probably just because of my interests in my life in terms of like creativity and expression and trying to dive deep into inner wisdom. And I guess in reading the chapter, I realized that in some ways I've been neglecting the other chakras to a certain extent, but I guess I'm trying to question what I would have been neglecting or why I wouldn't have seen as much importance in those chakras as opposed to the three I tend to focus on the most.
Excellent point, and very important, because you've been self-limiting. You just somehow defaulted to these and just kind of limped along with those. You developed a relationship with those three, but every chakra has a different function, different power, different spiritual power, and they're all important. And so I'm going to unpack this a little bit with regards to the upper chakras and the lower chakras, because they all have a different rate of vibration, for one thing, a different frequency. And ultimately we want to connect with higher chakras with higher frequencies, including the ones above the head. And this is a rabbit hole I've been going down for several years to really, and I've had some wonderful teachers around this, Samuel Sagan, Robert Gilbert, because, well, here's some pictures of some ancient pictures showing the chakras above the head, chakras below the body. And I'll pass this around. Same thing here. Some of my pictures showing the column above the head, which, as you can guess, would have even higher frequencies. Frequencies that are too high to come in to the physical body, because the physical gross body could not handle the frequency, the charge, the level of energy. So it's talking here in Jewel in the Lotus about how we need to be able to step down from the higher frequencies. Each one is like a transformer that can take from the higher one and step down information, what I call info energy, that can reach the brain and reach the heart. So this is a part of my mission in life, is to bring out this knowledge that there are 5 chakras above the head, there's 5 chakras below the body. And I'm going to pull out a whiteboard right now that I created for a previous class. I'm just going to give you a little flash of it to show you where I'm going with this and where you should probably consider going. And that is this idea of a 33 chakra system. 33 chakra system, which I'm actually upgrading to the 49 chakra system. And they're all important. Now, some of them are just your primary chakras, right? You know, like you all know about the 7 main chakras in the body, from the root to the bloom. I call it the root to the bloom. And unfortunately, a lot of people just stop there. And they also get into this thing about, you know, red, orange, yellow, green. That was all invented in the 60s. What I was showing during the meditation and working with the yantra cards, that's developed by the Rishi masters, of working with those colors on the yantra cards. You stare at them, you fatigue the color receptors in your eyes. You close your eyes, you get a different color. You get the complementary color, which is the astral color you want for the chakra.
So the answer to my question is that the rainbow colors that they chose was kind of made up in the 60s?
Yes.
Wow.
Not that you can't work with that system, you know, like if you want to apply green to your heart, it's going to have an effect. You know, green has a frequency, it has a quality. But this is super powerful. I call these yantraceuticals. And they call it in Jewel in the Lotus the internalization of the gods. Because when you get the complementary color of those, you're getting the astral color that's appropriate for the different chakras. So we've got the 7 main ones. We've got 5 below. We've got 5 above. You've got 7 in each of your arms. You've got 7 in each of your legs. We know about the Bindu chakra here at the swirl, as well as the crown chakra at the top. There's a very little known chakra at the back of the throat called the Talu chakra, but very powerful to work with. And
Is that the mouth of God?
basically, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So some of them are primary and some of them are secondary, and working with the secondary ones can really help the primary ones. And we'll get into this at some point where you learn to activate the secondary chakras in the palms of your hands and create a triangle, for example, with your brow. You can amp up the primary chakras.
Is there much on these additional chakras in Jewel in the Lotus?
No, nothing.
Okay. Oh.
This is me.
Wow.
This is my research. So I think I'm going to have another book. Okay, I can leave that. Yeah. Pre-personal, personal, and transpersonal chakras.
So why did
I'm just
these
giving you a
other
snapshot.
chakras get forgotten and the world fixated on these 7?
Because a lot of people, spiritual teachers, really haven't developed the clairvoyance to go there. Now, not to blow my own horn, but I've been working hard at this, you know, for a number of years to go beyond just reading books to where I get direct information. So, for example, by the way, I had another tantric weekend. Want to hear about my tantric weekend?
Yes.
Okay, left-hand path. Sorry. It was the left-hand path. But it was tantric because instead of moving around, and I'm sorry, I didn't get out to the dancing Sunday night. I'm FOMOing at the mouth. Hear that FOMOing at the mouth? But I went into this Shiva stillness over the weekend and not moving around. But when you go into this Shiva stillness, then the inner Shakti started to move. My turbines started to move. Kundalini started to move within me because, you know, I invited that through stillness. And I got some major downloads. It was great. I did a lot more clearing, clutter clearing, and stuff like that, and I'm now actually getting into some psychic clearing. Some big stuff has come up for me to look at. Some stuff from the past. It's like, oh, I want to deal with that. I want to really get that out of the way. But the big piece really was getting downloads regarding this class I'm going to do in the winter on partner practices, tantric partner practices, which I'll talk a bit more about. But yeah, that was my tantric weekend, was going into stillness so I could get into inner movement and get some downloads. And I'm very excited. I'm really excited about what's coming through. But back to the chakras here. They talk about the different techniques that you can use, the breath technique and the visualization technique, the bijas. We did that, right, in the opening set. And it talks about the order of activation, and this is a big deal as well, because most people think, oh, you start at the bottom, you awaken Shakti, you raise Kundalini, and you move it on up, and you open the higher chakras. But this is not the case. They're actually saying you start with the brain, you start with the higher ones. And that's why in last week's chapter we saw this whole thing of the tantric marriage in the brain, right? The pituitary gland, the pineal gland, the hypothalamus, and awakening this zone first, because then you have your own inner guru to guide you. Anybody here have a guru? You do?
An inner guru.
Oh, okay. But otherwise, like, nobody here's got a guru, right?
You're my guru.
I'm not your guru.
Someone told me once that guru is G, you are you.
That's
That
what
was the love guru.
Good.
Great.
Yeah, so we essentially have to awaken our own guru, and that is the third eye. Lata.
Oh, thank you. So, isn't it the other way? Shouldn't the lower chakras be prepared for what you're receiving? Because, like, my own journey, I'm not grounded yet, so I can receive.
Well, thank you. That's exactly what they get into. And the next thing I was going to say.
Oh.
Hey, Mata.
You're tuned in. Yeah, we have to prepare these lower ones, but from the place of the higher ones. Yeah, we have to see what's there in terms of psychic debris and integrate it. Psychic debris can be trauma, it can be some scars from past lives, and it can be unresolved issues with parents. So not only the lower ones, but the heart in particular really has to be prepared with regards to the heart chakra, because this is a big one for a lot of people. You know, we're all looking for love, we're all looking for ways to give love, we're all looking for ways to receive love, and a lot of people just say, open your heart, just follow your heart. No, it's very dangerous, because we have a lot of chakras that need to be brought online and working together to find our way in this moral minefield of a world. Here in Jewel it says, if you open Anahata is the heart chakra, if you open Anahata before the primal emotional material is cleared, and it's really talking about the lower chakras, the primal emotional material, you are setting yourself up for heartbreak. As long as you still have an emotional charge on the opposite sex parent, like so for me, my mother, and I've had to deal with that. I really love my mother, I was very attached to her. If you have an emotional charge on the opposite sex parent, any partner you choose would be someone who reminds you of that parent. An attempt to get from your partner what you didn't get from the parent to complete that relationship. You don't see the partner, only your projection of your parent. Such an attachment is built on illusion, and usually falls apart. But if your heart is open, you would love that illusion unconditionally, and the breakup would be devastating. Once the heart is open, your capacity for real love and joy expands dramatically. Your divine essence can enter this physical temple and you become a radiant being. So I went down that rabbit hole. I got married actually to someone who, it wasn't a marriage, it was an initiation to separate me from my mother. Didn't know it at the time, but I saw it in the rearview mirror. I said, whoa, okay, now I understand what happened. Because I hadn't dealt with this whole thing around the opposite gender parent. So, yeah, a word of caution around this whole thing of opening the heart chakra, because it's right at the center. And if that gets collapsed, then all the other chakras are really going to be out of alignment and not able to function. They're going to be haywire.
Do you think it's always the opposite sex parent, or maybe it's a little bit of both? It could be some of both parents.
Thank you for bringing that up because, yeah, I'm not dogmatic about this. I've had to work through father issues as well to reconcile things there. So whatever it is within you, it's finding that balance of the masculine and the feminine so they can work together so this central channel can be clear and all the chakras can be in communication with each other. Because that's why I've drawn these lines here. This is just an example of how the root chakra has a relationship with the crown chakra. And you can develop that relationship. Same with the sacral and the third eye. We saw that in the complete breath. How we were supposed to, it says in the book, do the pelvic rocking, but stay aware in the third eye. Because there is that correspondence. Same with the solar plexus and the throat. So it's kind of like a great machine with all these different cogs that need to be working together. And if one's clunking along, it's going to drag down the whole ship.
I have another question about the heart chakra thing that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I was predisposed to a very open heart or something, and I've had that experience that was outlined there, I feel like, several times. And so in that case, it would still be working through the third eye and the centers in the brain to sort of deal with that, strengthening maybe the will chakra more, or could you just touch on that a little deeper?
Sorry, what is the question?
Oh, I'm so sorry. So if I have this really open-heartedness thing that kind of I feel like I was predisposed in that way, I had just a really open heart,
Right.
came in like that. And I've had that experience a lot that was outlined in the book that you just mentioned. I've had that experience with, and not just romance, but lots of breaking heartness happening because it is so open and it is so unconditional in a way. And I've had to try and learn to do the boundary thing better and strengthen other parts of myself. But are you saying that, would you recommend then that you're still going through the third eye, working with the third eye first, or the centers in the brain first, in order to strengthen? What would be a counterbalance to that, or dealing with that issue of super maybe an open heart that's prematurely open before the other centers are strengthened more?
Oh, dealing with a prematurely open heart. Well, the heart is such a beautiful thing, and it's such a gift to have an open heart, because a lot of people are closed-hearted and they don't know how to open their heart. Yours is open, and so, all right, the jack in the box is out of the box. You may have noticed that when I'm leading something, I always like to start with the heart, because it is the center of centers. It's the center of all 50 chakras. And it's where life begins and life ends. So I always like to start with that center place. But then, with the way I work, and this is a big piece, and I would like to get into this in the partner practices, is getting people working with their chakras in pillarship with one another. Because that's where the tantric partner practices are going to begin. They're going to begin with learning how to be in pillarship with another human being. Being in pillarship means you're opposite someone else who's also got 50 chakras. So learning to sense and communicate with each other through your chakras, and it has nothing to do with sex, and it has nothing to do with taking your clothes off. This is really learning how to truly meet another human being in an intimate way, because you're meeting them energetically, you're meeting them spiritually, and you're meeting them through your chakras, which are organs of perception. This is where the partner practices are going to begin. So, in my training, I learned how to work with the larynx chakra even before the third eye chakra, with something called throat friction breathing. Some people know it as Ujjayi breathing. Anybody know the Ujjayi breath, where you constrict the throat, you create friction, which activates. This is kind of what we were doing, with the hum, but it's more of a very powerful to activate this, and then to direct the vibration, the frequency from the larynx up into the brain, up to awaken not just the brain, but the psychic centers of the brain, the third eye. Which, when that's on, my teacher called it the vital switch. I really call it the master switch. Because when that's on, that really activates your whole field. Everything becomes alive. And then from there, we've been going up above the head, right? With some of the practices, we've been spending time above the head. So we really need to start to bring everything on at once, but in a certain order. We need to activate these higher chakras, which connect us to really higher consciousness. And we have to have that stepping down. So we get that activated, then we can step down to the crown, the brow, larynx, the heart. Then we've got our guru online to then go down into these very powerful lower chakras. The sacral chakra, let's talk about the sexual chakra. I call it the starter motor of the machine, in a car. It's a starter motor that gets the engine going. But you don't want to start the starter motor up until you really have some vision, right? You're not going to drive a car with your eyes closed. A lot of people start up their starter motor, their sexual chakra, but they haven't opened this, so they're like driving blind. And that's why so many relationships crash and burn. They think, oh, this person looks good from across the room, but talk to them, a week later, 3 months later, and it's like, ugh. They get a closer look because they haven't really had their vision turned on. But not only is these lower chakras, the 5 below that, which are called the pre-personal, they're really tapping into primal energies of the earth. They're connected to the earth, the living earth, and wonderful, powerful energies for clearing your field, because the frequencies are really low and slow. It's like, when you activate them, and you could step up their energies, healing and clearing of an incredible sort can take place. But again, you don't want to turn those on until you have these upper chakras online, because these are the transpersonal chakras connecting to higher guidance, higher wisdom that will guide you with these lower turbines. Otherwise, you could become a monster. And people do become
I kind of saw that that sovereign, like the archetypal thing, like, and that what you're like, that I guess as a top, like a dreidel, like a
dreidel,
top.
yeah.
So like that stem, or that like anchor, that uprightness, like you were talking about, is like the thing that is keeping that all that spinning, that bottom part, that bottom heavy part is like able to spin correctly, because that top part, that stem, is like upright, and that's like the sovereign part of you.
Yes.
And so those higher chakras and that whole receiving or connecting to cosmic intelligence is really like the key part of what you're saying.
That's great. That analogy of the archetypes, right? The sovereign and the transpersonal chakras, and the lover down in the pre-personal chakras, and then the warrior and the magician flanking in the middle. So as you can see, there's a lot to this, and this is why, originally the boot camp was 2 terms, and then there was an advanced year with 3 terms, and then I even had a 3rd year with 3 terms, because this is deep. This is deep, and it's important stuff, and it takes a while to absorb it and then apply it, get it right, and get going with it. So to help you with that, because I know throwing a lot of information at you tonight, the handout for tonight is a guide that I created. It's been a work in progress since the beginning to take knowledge here, but take knowledge from other sources, combine it into this manual called Kundalini, Chakras, and Tantric Marriage, Preparation and Activation. So your home play for the week is to take this. It's 32 pages, so
Whoa.
It's a lot of reading. I'm not asking you to read the whole thing. I'm asking you to peruse through it to see what's in it. Just peruse through it, see what's in it, see what jumps out at you, see the resources here that I'm giving you to help you with your journey, and to realize there's a lot to this if you're wanting to continue with the Kriya Tantric Yogic path, which I will be doing this winter with a 2nd term, focusing on the second half of this book, chapters 7 to 12, but even more so focusing on the partner practices, which I've kind of skipped over this term. And you can probably see why I skipped over it, because you really need a foundation of other things. You need to understand these other things like bandhas, mudras, chakras, and all of that. So that's part of your home play for this week. The other part is the last installment of Chapter 1, in the Higher Worlds. And what else have I got going here? Announcements. Yeah, this Sunday, chill out time here in the Lofty Plounge. Calder's going to bring his projector and big screen. We're going to have a Matrix movie matinee Sunday afternoon. So you can arrive at 2. We'll start showing the movie at 3. You can start eating whenever you want. It's a potluck, so we'll have a table piled with food. And we'll stop and start the movie a few times so we can have some discussion. I think there's going to be some interesting people in the crowd. That Jonah being one of them, who's been a fellow student of the Matrix. It's an interesting movie, even more interesting as we move with this AI stuff that's coming on fast and heavy into our world and changing it dramatically. So there'll be time for discussion around the movie, but also just to chill out, relax, and enjoy each other for the afternoon. And should be done by 7 or 8. As I put in the email yesterday, that's so you can go home and get ready to go back to your cubicle Monday morning.
Take the blue pill.
And take the blue pill. Yeah, the other announcement was the following Saturday is going to be another Lofty gathering here with Liz Leah and our partner who are fresh back from Egypt. Liz came with me to Egypt last year to help with the tour, and then this year she took her own tour. So she'll be here. We'll hear about that, but she's also going to lead us in music, in sound bath, and Blue Lotus tea ceremony. Yes. Blue Lotus Liz. All right. Any questions, comments before we close out? Please.
The theory furnace, the purification process that it talks about in the book, and how there are some ways to expedite the purification process. Like, any suggestions? chakras.
Purification of
The fiery furnace that it talks about.
which?
The fiery furnace.
Fiery
Fire.
furnace?
Fiery.
The fiery furnace.
And also it talks about in this chapter about the cleansing process, very important, and Tantra is a very good way to expedite the purification.
Thank you. Yes, the psychic debris, the stuff that's going to come up. It does say that. I was trying to find that section to read, but it's going to say, it says that it's memories are going to come up. Stored trauma is going to come up. To hold it in the fiery furnace of conscious awareness. And to just let it be bathed in light and forgiveness. So it loses its charge, right? That's basically what we want to do. We don't erase the memory. The memory will remain there, but you want it to lose its charge and power over you. Because a lot of people are oppressed by memories that still have a charge. They'll come up and they'll be vulnerable to these things. It'll be traumatizing. So to bring it up in this fire of the light of consciousness, to look at it with love and acceptance, forgiveness for yourself, for the other. Now, having said that, what I wanted to mention, and I'll talk about it next week at our closing, is I'm also doing a class on focusing this winter, which for me is the best way to go into what's stored in the bodies and to bring it into awareness with a 6-step process that's safe, it's gentle, it's organic, and stuff that gets stored, that stuff that's stored gets shifted and will never be the same again. It's alchemized through this focusing process. So it'll never have the same power in you or over you again.
And how do we bring them to the surface, those practices that we just did for chakra?
Well, it's saying they will come to the surface, doing these practices, particularly in the context of activating the chakras. Because these chakras are info centers. There's information going out, there's information coming in. And for most people, they're inert, but we're making them active. So that psychic debris that's just kind of hanging around there that feels kind of icky and swaying us down, yay, it's going to come up. We can hold it in light and love. Let it go. Let it be integrated as part of who we are, part of our history. It's a strata there in our history. But then we have it more as a foundation to build on with wisdom, rather than something with a charge that's constantly throwing us off.
So the samskaras are also physically, location-wise, are staying within the area of the chakra. Is that why, for example, some people when they have a hard time expressing themselves, like literally, I'm including, have a hard time, like I feel like the choking around my neck, that is a chakra blockage from samskaras?
Could be. Yeah. So there's work there.
Oh, juicy.
That's why we, got to do inner work. We got to have an inner life. It's work. It takes time. It takes dedication. It takes discipline. And it takes a dyad partner, which is what I teach, someone who can hold space for you so you can unpack it in clean, clear, non-judgmental space. Mata and then Julia.
So, when we have the activation of the chakras, is it normal that random memories just come up?
Yeah. Absolutely. Just out of the blue. Why am I thinking of this memory?
Yeah.
But catch it and work with it.
There's no trauma, like it's just very random, like it happens a lot.
You have that a lot?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you got work to do. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
You got a life. You got an inner life. And it's taking you somewhere. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
Julia.
For the focusing, you're saying they would do it with a dyad partner, but you can also do it on yourself. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, so the class is teaching both how to do it on yourself and how to teach you how to hold space for other people.
Yes. Yeah. Jeremy.
Just very quickly, do you have any recommendations for books or resources on some of the other 42 chakras?
No, as I say, I'm the guy. I need to write a book.
Here's your resource.
Yeah, and as I said, in the Tantra partner practices, that's where we're going to start. We're ending this term with chakras. We're going to start the next one with chakras, but learning to work with them and experience them with other people. And that just becomes so joyous when you can leverage yourself to somebody else and they can leverage themselves to you to accelerate your activation. You're going to feel things that you hadn't felt before because you're not really feeling yourself, but then when you're in somebody else's presence and you can feel them, that's going to help you to feel yourself, to feel them. And that's really so powerful in my mind when you're with another person and you can feel them and you can feel what they need. You can feel how to touch them. You can feel how to speak to them. You can feel what's going to be perfect thing at an exact moment. And if they're doing the same thing, it's really the dance of Shiva and Shakti. Because with this thing around partner practices, it's learning to identify actually less with the physical body and the personality and to identify more with our higher nature. That's what's so elevating about Tantra partner practices. It will elevate the ego to a much higher state of identification. And when we get there, then that's where our consciousness is going to change. We're going to tap in to higher consciousness. I mean, you all know what it's like when you're like feeling love, feeling passion, you're rolling around in bed with somebody and it's like, oh man, I'm just like in this higher ocean. I'm going to use that not for barnyard sex, but to elevate ourselves to higher worlds.
And then the barnyard sex is after.
The barnyard sex is gone.
Barnyard sex is the cherry on
That
top.
sounds
Well,
fun. I never had
all right,
sex
I'm
in
not
a
putting
barnyard.
down barnyard sex. you want, like there's that Shakti is like turbines, powerful, the lioness.
So
In a
when
barnyard.
you get activated that way, I don't think you even want to be in your body because you're just so elevated and you feel and you understand a lot more things that you don't want to even bring yourself down to the body.
Exactly. That's why this picture on the front cover really says a lot, because that's not barnyard sex, pardon me, but that's stillness. There's a lot of Shiva stillness that's going on there, but at the same time there's a lot of Shakti movement, but it's inner movement that lifts you and lofts you to those higher states. So there's activity, but it's inner activity. And that's what Steiner's saying, we need inner activity. We've got to get on that.
And then it opens up that light inside that you can see there.
Yes, the illumination. And then you can see that person, you can see the divine essence within them. And it's so easy to love that and to be loved by that. Okay, let's close the circle, because I always know it's time, because AT is heading towards the door. And I hate to have him leave without closing the circle. So come back for 30 seconds, AT, and we'll go into our clearing and aligning pose. And then transition to the Ka pose. Feeling uplifted, uplighted, illuminated. And then folding the wings over the breast. Coming back to your center while still feeling you're in a circle of centers.